We'll continue the class digestion and absorption. In our last class, we have discussed about various kinds of nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, and roughage. At the same time, we have discussed that the building blocks of carbohydrates are sugars, the building blocks of proteins are called as amino acids, and the building blocks of fats is usually called as fatty acids. In the present class, we'll discuss about amino acids and fatty acids. So let us go with the building blocks. It is called as amino acids, and it is said that there are 20 amino acids in the organisms, and these 20 amino acids reorganize themselves to form various kinds of proteins, and these proteins are present in the body in the form of enzymes, hormones, various blood proteins like albumin, globulins, anticoagulants like heparins, etc. So out of these 20 amino acids, 9 plus 1 are considered as essential amino acids, and rest 10 are considered as non-essential. So what is essential and what is non-essential amino acids? So essential amino acids are the amino acids which cannot be framed or formed in the body, so it has to be taken from outside in the form of food supplement. So these essential amino acids can be remembered by an analogy that is called as T, mat, will, ply. So T is for threonine, M for methionine, A for alanine, tryptophan, valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine, histidine, and lysine. So this can be remembered by this particular mnemonic that is called as T, mat, will, fly. Clear? So usually sometimes amino acids are used for generating the energy that is required for the body. So in such a cases, amino acids get converted into ketones, and a process that is involved is called as ketosis, or also called as acidosis. Okay. So let us go with the fatty acids. Fatty acids are the building blocks for fats, and there are two. Again, these fatty acids are divided into two categories: essential and non-essential. So as I mentioned you, essential amino acids cannot be framed in the body, whereas non-essential can be produced in the bodies. So when you go with the essential amino acids, there are two essential amino acids. One is called as linoleic acid, and second one is called as alpha linolenic acid. So these are the two acids which are essential fatty acids. Thank you. Yesterday we have discussed about the basic concept that is related to the digestive system. So today we'll go with the digestive system, under which digestion and absorptions usually takes place. So when we go with the digestive system is also called as gut, or also called as alimentary canal. So these are the three names for the same system that is called as digestive system. So digestive system includes digestive organs, and glands, are also called as digestive glands. Okay. So when we go with the first one that is called as digestive organs, so digestive organs includes mouth, oral cavity, followed by pharynx, followed by esophagus, followed by stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. So before that we have another organ that is called as rectum. So these are the various digestive organs that are present in the digestive system. So we will go individually with each and every digestive system. Before that, let us go with the digestive glands. So digestive glands includes salivary glands, gastric glands, intestinal glands, pancreas, and liver. Out of this, these digestive glands, usually gastric glands, intestinal glands are associated with the digestive organs, whereas salivary glands, pancreas and liver are external glands which pour their secretions into the digestive system. So that's the reason why they are usually called as associated glands of digestive system. Okay. Now let us go with mouth. Mouth is the interiormost organ of the alimentary canal. Mouth consists of is usually covered by two lips, upper and lower lips, and between the space between the lips and the teeth we have a cavity that is called as vestibule. The cavity that is present between the lips, the cheeks and the dental teeth or the jawbones is usually called as vestibule. Mouth leads to, the opening of mouth leads to an oral cavity. The cavity what we have is usually called as oral cavity. It is called as oral cavity. So the oral cavity consists of teeth and tongue. So along with this we have the glands associated with this mouth is usually, oral cavity is usually called as salivary glands. So these are the three different structures that are associated with the mouth, what we call it as oral cavity. Okay. When we go with teeth, there are two set of teeth in the whole lifespan of a human being. That's the reason the teeth is considered as diphyodont. So two set of teeth. So the two sets includes the first one, milk teeth, or also called as deciduous teeth. And the second set of teeth is usually called as permanent teeth. So usually the milk teeth are replaced with the permanent teeth. So the number of milk teeth is usually 20 in number, whereas the number of permanent teeth are 32 in number. Okay, so the teeth is arranged, both the teeth, that is milk teeth as well as permanent teeth, are arranged in the jaw bones, the upper jaw and lower jaw, in a systematic arrangement which is usually called as dental formula. So usually the dental formula of milk teeth is 2 by 2, 1 by 1, 0 by 0, 2 by 2. So which means these are incisors, these are canines, these are premolars which are absent in case of children, or the milk teeth is absent, whereas molars are only 2 in each side of a jaw. When it comes to the permanent teeth, the incisors are 2 by 2 by 1, premolars 2 by 2, and molars is equivalent to 3 by 3. That means the premolars, which are totally absent in case of the children, infants, is replaced with 2 set of teeth, and during the early time period, early childhood, this particular area is present with a space that is called as diastema. It is called as diastema. It is an empty space which we can see in the children. In the absence of premolar, there is a space that is called as diastema. Okay. Discussed about what is diphyodont. Teeth is usually embedded in the bony sockets in case of mammals, particularly in human being. Whereas in amphibians and reptiles, the teeth is usually attached to the bony sockets, but here it is embedded. So that's the reason why the teeth in case of human beings is usually called as thecodont. So thecodont means embedded. Teeth are embedded in bony sockets. So such an arrangement of teeth is usually called as thecodont. So we have seen that the teeth are of 4 different kinds in case of mammals. In case of amphibians, or in case of some groups of reptiles, the teeth are similar. All the teeth look similar in shape and size, but in case of human beings, there are 4 types of teeth, like incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. So there are 4 different varieties of teeth in case of human beings, and that's the reason why the teeth, such kind of teeth, is usually called as heterodont. It is usually called as heterodont. Okay. Whereas in case of amphibians, whereas in case of some groups of fishes and some groups of reptiles, they have similar type of teeth. That's the reason why they are usually called as homodont. So the dentation or the teeth type in case of human beings is diphyodont, thecodont, and heterodont, because of presence of incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. So this kind of arrangement, we can see that here, this kind of arrangement, incisors, canines, premolars, and molars, are present in case of human beings, and which gives us an idea that they are omnivorous. Omnivorous in nature. So incisors helps in cutting, biting. Canines helps in tearing, whereas molars and premolars helps in grinding and chewing. So that's the reason why human beings, particularly as we are discussing about the human digestive system, they are omnivorous in nature. So let us go with